Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about stopping the manipulations. If you feel like you've been a person that's been heavily manipulated all your life, or, the narcissistic relationship showed you where you were being manipulated, at least by this one person in your life, I want to talk about, how we can stop that and, put ourselves in a position where we're not getting manipulated. The number one way to stop getting manipulated by people is to have knowledge of self. Knowledge of self stops the manipulations. It stops the manipulations because if you're in tune with yourself and where you're vibrating from, where your mind is mentally, and what your desires are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, if you're fully aware of these things, then no one will be able to exploit you and manipulate you because of them. Just think about your relationship with the narcissist. Were you in a place of needing or feeling like you needed a relationship? Were you desperate for a relationship at the time? Knowledge of self will let you know if you were. Lack of knowledge of that would allow the narcissist to exploit you for it. Okay, were you in a place of low self-esteem, low self-love? Again, self-knowledge will, reveal that to you. And lack of self-knowledge will allow the narcissist to exploit you because of it. And that would have you, or you would begin to settle and let this go. Turn a cheek on that. Lower your bars. Lower your standards. Were you desperate to be accepted, to feel wanted, needed, and loved? Knowledge of self would reveal that to you. And oppositely, lack of knowledge of this would have the narcissist exploit you for that. So now you're going out of the way to prove your worthiness to this narcissist, and your family member, your friends, lover, partner, peer, co-worker, boss, so that you'll be accepted and approved of. Only the narcissist never really accepts you at all. They'll accept the supply from you, but they never accept you as a person at all. So that's an endless cycle, an endless battle, an endless voyage or journey that you're going on that would only end when one of you die, basically, because you'll never complete it. All right, so we have to begin to know ourselves and understand ourselves and get to the place where you can self-reflect back on your situation with clear eyes and with a clear mind. That way you can really see where you were and what was going on, so that you can work on that within yourself if you haven't done so already, so that it won't happen in the future. And then you can just look at yourself, generally speaking, for things that weren't necessarily exploited in that relationship, but still things that you need to be stronger in, so that your self-love, your self-esteem, your boundaries and standards will be high enough moving forward, guys. Because as you can see, when those things are weak or poorly enforced, things run amok. You know, a person can just come in your life and you're all over the place because you're not grounded in anything. You're just being pushed with the wind. And this is whatever that narcissist is saying right now. Oh, we're going to the left. No, now we're going to go to the right. Okay? And that's just leads to total chaos eventually. All right? We've all, had that devastation in this toxic relationship, at least one. Some of us have just been over and over, switching them out with different names and faces, but another narcissist and worse than the one before. The universe is trying to get your attention, and you don't want it to scream at you. You do not want it to scream at you. It screamed at me during my last relationship. And I'm going to make a full video just talking about that particular relationship. And you guys will be like, oh, wow. Yeah, it screamed at me. And the scream worked. Screams usually work. Yeah, it's true. It works. Just think of it in real life. You have a soft-spoken, mild-mannered person in the middle of a crowd trying to get the crowd's attention. And then nobody's really listening. Nobody can really hear it. But put a person in the middle of that crowd with a bullhorn. Oh, yeah, I think that'll get some attention. That'll get attention. And that's what the universe has to do sometimes when we're not paying attention to the smaller clues and the smaller lessons. They have to get bigger. They have to get bigger, stronger, and harder so that it can get our attention. And unfortunately, some people just won't get it, and it results in them losing their life. The universe is like, okay, well, we've screamed as loud as we could at this person. They're just not going to get it. So, their time is up. Their time is up. But you're up. You're up. You're listening to this video. You've been given another chance. And granted, we're all going to die one day. But it doesn't have to be because we wasn't listening to the universe. It could be we would more so die in our divinely order rather than prematurely because we were refusing to step into our strength. We were refusing to grow and evolve. We were refusing to stop our toxic ways. We were refusing to listen to it. We wanted to stay in our ignorance. We wanted to stay in our sin. Because I went about things the wrong way initially with the narcissist, that last one. And then I tried to do things the right way. But the narcissist wanted to keep doing things the wrong way. And it resulted in me being traumatized. And then it threw me into a horrible cycle of trying to, I was fighting for my life, fighting for my life. But hindsight, I tell you, the things we see in hindsight. So I made some, I didn't know. I was working out of my ignorance. And that's why I make these videos. And I'll use myself as an example to let you know, hey, I understand all this stuff now, but there was a time in my life when I didn't. And I didn't have anybody telling me. I just had to learn the hard way. Okay? I had to learn by falling on my face. But I'll be damned. I will help as many other people not have to fall on their face. My daughters, they will have the mother I didn't have. They're going to have all the benefits in life I didn't have. I'm going to have all the important conversations with them that no one ever had with me. And not only am I doing it for my children, I'm doing it with the world. Because I'm passionate about that. I've been through so much. And I believe that most of that could have been avoided if I had just had knowledge, information. I grew up an orphan, guys. Nobody put into me. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and stop this video, and we have to begin that self-reflect. Yes, we can sit down and self-reflect on this narcissist in a certain level. You know, we're not them, so we're not all the way in their mind, but you know, they all have these general patterns. So, you know, understanding them is important, but understanding ourselves is most important. Okay? So continue to do that shadow work. And just because something is unpleasant, just because, you know, you're realizing, you know what, I'm not perfect either. I have things that I need to work on about myself so that I won't be anybody's prey, so that I can be the strongest and the best me moving forward. Because some people don't want to have a mirror put in front of their face. We know the narcissist certainly doesn't. But there's some people who aren't narcissistic that don't like it either. Because all their self-worth is tied up in seeming perfect, seeming like you have it all together. Nobody has it all together all the time. I don't care who they are. Oprah doesn't have it together all the time. The president, that was a bad example, but he doesn't have it together all the time either. Okay? Nobody, no matter how much of a great placement they have in society amongst a whole bunch of other imperfect human beings. Beyonce, none of these people that get idolized have it together all the time. They just don't. We have to stop idolizing people, period. Okay? And then later on we find out who they really were behind their gift. Because they excelled at their gift doesn't make them a perfect human being. It just makes them gifted in their gift. That's why I've never been starstruck. I've never been the person that needed somebody's autograph. I mean, I'll take a picture with them. I think that's a fun memory to capture. But, you know, I've never been starstruck because I know nobody is perfect. But we all have our gifts, all right? So find out what yours are, and then find out where you need to get stronger as well, guys. All right? Until next time, guys, take care.